for students to compare their skill level to the skills required for the jobs they are interested in, they need to go to the Home menu and under here, under Career Exploration. So they don't want to click on the actual job here and be taken to ONET. What they want to do is click on the actual title, Career Exploration, and they can search here either by they can search by skill level or learn about the skill levels, but we actually want to look for a particular job. So what this particular student might be interested in, that marine engineering, I encourage students at this point to select their top choice, the one that they want the most. If marine is too specific, they can look just for engineering. Okay, so that one didn't work that way, but I can search for engineering and scroll through here. Engineering. Yeah, so before marine showed up, not quite sure why it's not displaying this time around. So that's kind of interesting. But so let's say that they're interested in mechanical engineering, for example. So if they click on that job, it will display the minimum, maximum, medium skill levels that are required for certain areas. So what I'd like students to do is to print this page. They can watch a video of a person doing this job. They can look at the details. They can read the tasks for this particular job. So I like them to print this information and compare it to the skills that are listed in their portfolio. So sometimes students have the ability to just use the control print and it comes out okay. Sometimes that doesn't work for students and they might need to, so that for this student it worked somewhat, and this is fine, they could print that. Other students might need to copy paste this information into a Word document, and it's not going to be beautiful, but it'll do the job, so that's pretty close. You'll notice that it might be multiple pages more than what they want, so help students to not print this garbage page, number one. So all they really need here is to print pages 2 and 3 or just page 2 for our purposes. All right, so I don't actually need that at the moment. Save that so I don't accidentally close it. Okay, and so the student has printed and looked at the levels that are required by that job, and what they can do is in their portfolio they can compare it to their current skills, and that can serve to motivate students, for them to identify, okay, I need to go up 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels. I had one student say, okay, well, the levels that I need to move up are too much. That's not realistic for me. I don't think I can go from a 2 to a 6 in the time that I'm looking at. I want to be able to work much sooner than that, and so the student needed to kind of readjust what their goals were and their plan of action and their next steps. And that's also a healthy and realistic conversation to have with themselves, or to bounce off of somebody else. What else can I do? Is there something I can do to, a lower level job to work in that direction, something like that. So I really like that aspect of this program. And at this point, the student is actually ready to go ahead and start improving their skills. So if I go into this lesson, it gives you a little overview here at the beginning of all of the things that will be in the lesson, and the student can go ahead and click on where they want to start, because remember, mine didn't have to be in order. They can start with the introduction. I don't really think the introduction is usually necessary, so I'm going to go ahead and jump right in to part of the lesson, and you'll see that it gives a little kind of outline of how things will progress. So even though it says page 1 of 60, that's for the whole lesson. So it's not just for the overview. It's not 60 pages of overview. You'll notice that as I go through, eventually it'll flip over to learning, even though I'm on page 5. So the 60 is for the whole lesson. Part of this program is interactive, so they will need to respond to things. It will give them feedback on how they're doing. There are a lot of visual cues here. It makes them actually click on something. See if I can get to a place that requires some dragging and dropping. So, okay, here's an example. This program doesn't allow you to drag something like you normally would in other programs. It will give you a little warning, a little reminder that that's not how this program works. So what they want you to do is click on the item and then click where you want it to go. So this program is just a little bit different in that aspect, and students often have trouble with that. So because we're in a lesson, just a little reminder about this turning
now
on.
Now test your recognition of safety warning symbols.
Okay, so you can have students turn that on or off. It's defaulted to be on off, so it doesn't surprise people and create a lot of noise in the computer lab. If you tell students, okay, time's up, you want them to close out, they can save and exit. Students can resume this lesson in the middle. Pre-test, they cannot resume in the middle. Once they start a pre-test, they need to finish the whole thing or they'll have to start over. Okay, once the student has gotten far enough in the lesson, or they feel that they're qualified to try to test out, they can attempt the quiz. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save and exit anyway, and it will redirect them. Okay, and now it will tell me that I spent just a few minutes on it and that I did not finish it. So this can help students remember that they need to go back and finish that particular lesson. Okay, it also gives them reminders that they have to have an 80 or above, and that they have 3 attempts allowed for the quizzes. So those are some basics on how the lessons work. Some students also want to double click on things, and within this program you just single click on most things. So basically don't use the back button, not the usual browser back button, don't use that in a lesson, and don't double click. So those are just a couple of tips that students might find helpful when interacting with the lessons. The blue one is the one that is currently selected, and so if they hit Start Interactive Lesson, that's the one that is going to begin. I hope that made sense and was really helpful. Good luck.